Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television up close to the Huntsville, Alabama area, channel 182, and that's on Charter Spectrum. Glad to be there again. And also, you can find us on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And you can always find us on the radio too, 92.9 FM on the dial right here in South Carolina, the biggest country giant station there is. So we're real proud to be part of that as well. Continue finding us, by the way, on Facebook. I love being with you on Facebook and all the other social media sites as well. Continue sending email. You know, I dig it. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. I love hearing from you. And you guys are wanting to listen to more, like from DeJoly, which is absolutely awesome. We love having her on the show as well. And you're saying a little less politics because we get inundated with that all the time, and a little more about personal feelings and about personal health. And gardening, boy, you guys are all over that. So that's what we're going to start doing because you asked for it, and it's going to be, the show's about you anyway. So whatever you say, that's what we're going to do. DeJoly is with me right now, and it's always so good to be with her. She's one of my best friends and kind of helps me. I can breathe.
I love it that you can breathe.
That's a good thing. It really is. You know, sometimes we just get into the business of life. I mean, you know, when you think, well, I'm breathing, everybody breathes, but not in the right way. And so there are just techniques that you can do, just plain old breathing. And it's amazing what that can do for you, especially when you've got everything in the world going on, and we all do. And just take a moment to breathe. That really does a lot for you. So DeJoly is an author and a speaker, and she does all kinds of other things. And let's talk about your books before we get started.
Okay. I have 4 books out there, and they can be found on Amazon. And I had them on my website at one time, but I don't anymore. But they're at Amazon, and just look up my name, and they'll all come down the list. Mostly a progress from when I first started writing through now. One was explaining what happened as a child. One was healing part of that. One was saying what happened to you. It's a spiritual guide for transformation through writing prompts and so on. And then a meditation book. So they can be found all on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm. You made a statement we always have a show before the show, so we were talking a little bit earlier, and it was healing to the power of the pen. What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of people think that a pen is worth $1.97 or $4 or $20, whatever. That's what it's worth. But the reality is that there's I just love that this is so synchronistic because this morning, one of the women who came to one of my retreats sent me a post that says neuroscience has shown that, and then it says that writing is a way to translate what's going on in your mind onto paper, which makes it clearer. I can't read it right here, but anyway, it was real interesting to me because I've known from my own recovery process that writing was the one thing that helped me the most, writing it out. Because oftentimes we can say, oh, I feel great. And then on paper, you're writing, my life sucks. So, and the truth comes out through the pen. So the intrinsic value of the pen is that it tells the truth. So when you take that time to sit with yourself and be honest with yourself on paper, you can clear out a lot of things that don't belong to you because they're things that have been, we as women and often all of our society, but we put stipulations on our behavior, on our thoughts. We can't eat certain things. We can't do this. We can't do that. And it's all a matter of whether the society accepts you, because we as humans want to be a part of a community. We're not alone. We aren't here alone. So we want to be part of that. So we kind of adapt our bodies and our minds and our spirits adapt to whatever's going on around us. But in the reality is what comes through your hand, through that pen, is like the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a technique that you can use that becomes very powerful once you really understand what it is. Because when we write with our dominant hand, whether it's left or right, when you write with your dominant hand, your mind has filters. It'll correct it'll edit as you write. You end up writing the most beautiful poetry because you're just feeling great. And then all of a sudden, if you change your hand to the non-dominant hand and write with that hand, the truth will come out of what it is, because there are no filters. There's no mental filter. There's no correcting. There's no spell check inside your brain that's going on. It's going to come right out through that hand. It may look sloppy at first, but it's interesting. The longer you do it, the less sloppy it looks, and you can read it. And for the most part, I can read mine all the time. But when I write with my right hand, I'm okay with it because I totally understand that I'm editing myself while I'm doing it. But if I really want to get down to what's really going on, DeJoly, then I change my hand and use that. But neuroscience has now said it's very powerful. The writing comes through, which makes it a permanent memory where we have the ability to kind of put things back in the back and not pay attention to them and say, oh, I'm okay. And the reality is, no, you're not okay. And oftentimes we don't even know we're wounded. We don't even know that we're not okay until we write something down on paper. If you're sitting with yourself, I encourage people to journal. If you're sitting with yourself with your journal and you write something on there, the key is to be honest and say to yourself, this is how I'm feeling. There are a lot of questions you can ask. I always tell people, when I was taking journalism classes in college, the thing that they taught was who, what, where, when, how, and why. So how can you reframe the experiences that you've had that are causing you pain, that are causing you frustration, that are causing you anger, causing you have horrible relationships or whatever? How can you reframe that so that it becomes purposeful, that it's not just a mess of anger and all that within your body? Because obviously, you and I have talked before how our mind and our body are connected. And when we hush or push down our feelings, they often find themselves lodged somewhere in our bodies. And so that causes what is dis-ease. And so anyway, what I encourage is for you to sit with that paper long enough to look at it and say, do I really want to be honest here or not? If you want to be honest, then that's the purpose of journaling. You'll write down how you really feel or what's going on. Who did what to you that made you feel bad? Why did they do it? Where did they do it? When did they do it? If it's in the past, it can't hurt you. One of my therapists a long time ago, who I dedicated one of my books to, she said, if you lived through it, you can live through the memory of it. So when you bring back a memory, you're not going to die from writing it down. If you're still alive, you made it. I look at my life and I say, oh, I made it, but if you've made it this far and you're willing to be honest, you write down what it is and how it made you feel, and then reframe it. Like, how can I take the lesson that I learned from that particular incident and turn it into wisdom that I can share with others? Because our purpose is to be in community again. And if you're in community, you have a voice, you have a presence there, and you can share that wisdom with others through journaling, through being honest in your writing. that's where the power of the pen is.
I find that really interesting what you just said, especially about the right hand, left hand. I'm left-handed, and so I'm constantly writing, and I think you think more. I really do because when I have, just for the heck of it. Now my handwriting is messy either way. It doesn't really matter. Now, I can paint pictures, but I can't. My handwriting is horrible. So, but I can change to the right hand. I'm going to try that. And this is where the truth comes out, because this is what happens. We put ourselves in a safe box, and I think when we write with the dominant hand, like you just said, that makes sense because I'm happy. I'm in that box right there. Nothing is going to hurt me. Okay, I'm just going to jot something down. But sometimes we have to face that giant. That movie, Facing the Giant, and we have to be able to come to terms with what's going on in our minds and with our health and our well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and sometimes our decisions our life decisions, day to day, moment to moment, are made based on past experiences. We've gotten here based on all of that. And today you can choose to be different, but you have to acknowledge that you have wounds from those past experiences. You also have, great experiences. So I'm not going to say that life is horrible. But at one time, there was a time for me when I was like, I would really rather not be here,
Okay.
So it is true. We do filter out. The human mind it takes in millions of stimuli all the time. It's always making decisions for us. And so the decision just to raise my hand, that can be sound and look automatic, but sometimes it's like, oh, how'd that get there?
Mm-hmm.
And why am I walking into that room? I don't remember, but somehow or other I got there. So it's kind of like our brain does things based on what it knows. It kind of filters, it's like all the time until finally it makes the decision, and it's instantaneous. We make these decisions all day long. I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get a glass of water. Okay, the next decision is, are you going to get up out of your seat, DeJoly, and go get that glass of water? So, we do that all the time. It's not a decision about whether or not you buy a car or a house or you get in a relationship. It can just be that simple. Those are decisions that we make day to day that we can those filter in, and they just kind of cloud everything into the memory of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can take those pieces out and just get down to what actually happened, and then say, well, now, how did that impact me? Was I hurt by that? And if you say, oh, no, I'm okay, I would look at that again and write that on paper and say, oh, no, I'm okay with what they did to me, and see where your body is telling you, are you kidding me? No way.
I'm pretty sure mine would have some thoughts, words to say. Let's go into a commercial break. And we'll be back in just a minute. Everybody hang in there. I can't believe how time just flies by. We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Again, thank you so much for watching. Definitely appreciate that. I know DeJoly appreciates you're doing that as well. I wanted to ask you a question, and because we're talking about actually physically getting a pen and writing in your hand, and I totally get that. And I seem to remember things more often when I write it rather than when I type it in. So what are your thoughts on, I'm just going to type my journal into my laptop and be done with it?
I disagree with doing that. When I have workshops or otherwise, I always require them to have a pen and paper. I don't even know. Sorry, pen and paper. Because when you take away the mind-body connection, which is this is the route. This pen is the route to the paper that, how do I say that? To actually tell the truth. So if you're typing, you're distancing yourself from what you're feeling. You're now trying to get it perfect. You're editing it while you're there using both hands. You can't really tell the truth. You can tell a version of the truth, but you can't necessarily tell the full truth. So when you're writing with your hand, you're actually connected to the paper, to what you're writing. A lot of people don't like to write. Some people can't write because physical disability. But if they have all their facilities and they can write, it's better to do it that way because of the disconnection. We're already very far from our emotions most of the time. Most people, I teach emotional literacy in my classes and in my coaching. And that is so that people who normally have like 5 or 6 emotions that, they're big. We know that they're big. They're love, hate, anger, scared, those kinds of things. But if you get into the nuances of the emotions, you have more of I'm not just feeling scared. I'm feeling hurt because this person hurt me before. I don't know that I can trust them. There's trust, there's hurt, there's sadness because I was betrayed by this person. There's all kinds of things that go in with it. So if you learn spirit or emotional literacy, the whole gamut of what we actually feel is huge as opposed to what we actually can write down. I'm mad. Okay, what do you mean by you're mad? Does that mean you're crazy? Does that mean you're angry? If you're angry, is there more specific? Are you frustrated? Are you pissed off? What is it that you feel, right? Mm-hmm. And so you go deeper into that so that you understand you're multifaceted, and so are your emotions. And so when you get to the place where you can actually say, I'm very frustrated with this person, and I'm getting angry about it. I'm either going to get angry at myself or I'm going to get angry at them. There are a lot of things that we do that, come back to what's the truth of it. If
Mhm.
you're hurt, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to hide it? Are you going to push it in the back, which most of us do? Or are you going to bring it forward, put it on paper, and look at it? Because you're right. You things become more permanent. You remember them because you can see that you wrote it, and you can remember. Your body and your mind remember having that pen in your hand and writing. So you
Mhm.
actually remember the things that you wrote because you've actually had a connection with that paper, pen. So
Mhm.
it's very important to have that physical connection, mind-body connection.
Change the hand when you change and go to the non-dominant hand, that could really be powerful.
It's very powerful. I can say a good part of my recovery from childhood abuse, I'm going to speak on that in a minute, had to do with um, changing to my left hand because I'm dominant right hand, and allowing my inner voices to come out and tell the story of what happened, tell the story of how they were hurt, what they needed, blah blah blah. So there were many things that occurred in
Mhm.
the process of journaling. I can say also I started journaling when I was a kid, when I was drawing cartoons, because I
Mhm.
was afraid to write the words because I thought somebody would find them. But if they found my cartoons, they wouldn't understand what they were about, so that I was safe. That's another thing that we're looking for. We're not just looking for community, but we're looking for a safe community. So
Mhm.
we establish that by, if you look at it and you tell yourself the truth, say, I want to be in this group, but I don't like this about it. If you don't like that about it, why don't you like that about it? Where did you get that belief? Is that true for you now? Who are you without that belief? And would you be willing to give up that belief? So there are a lot of things, that I look at when you're journaling. You don't just write down, the weather is nice today and my cat loves me, because that's the truth. But it also is going deeper, and it can also be, you can find healing in all sorts of ways, whether it's through belly laughter, uh, dancing in your kitchen, turning on your favorite music and singing at the top of your voice. Those are ways you can heal. But one of the fastest and most connected ways to your truth is through writing, through the journal writing, with a pen in hand.
Well, let me ask you about another connection, and I don't know if this is a thing or other people do this too. Okay, I love the idea of a book, and here's a book right here. It's from one of my friends. His name is Ron Foster, and he's a gardener, and so he's written several books. But I prefer because sometimes he puts things out, online where you can just read things online. But instead of reading it online, I like to find his book. And I just like to read it. I like turning the pages. What's the significance of that? Or is there? Is that just something in Donna's head?
No, there's very much an important connection. There you go. And there's a very important thing. Back in the day, this was also proven, scientific. I love when my intuitive knowing matches science. Before they say it, I've done it, But the touching of the paper, we have a tactile sense that is very important. That's one reason why when you're holding the pen and you're touching the paper, you're writing in your journal, there's that connection that you don't get when you are typing, right?
Yeah.
But when you're reading a book, you're doing the very same thing in a less of a way, because you're not the one writing, but you're reading someone else's writing. And the touching of the feeling that you get from touching the book, I'm hard one. I don't,
Hey,
not yet. It's just like having a pen in your hand. There's a connection. Mind and body go together. So if you have a tactile, you remember more what they're saying, because when you're actually holding the book, you're remembering more because it's in your body now. See, your hand is touching the pages, your eyes are moving across the pages, your mind catches more when you're reading it in a physical book. When you're looking at it on a screen, it's like, oh, You know,
I just don't read it as much. I just like and there's something about turning the page. I don't know, this may sound nuts, but something about turning the page. It's like, okay, I'm turning another idea. I'm about to get to another idea because I'm turning that page.
Exactly.
And my books, and I don't know how many times I've told Phil, and he encouraged me to keep my books because I've got a huge collection of books. It's like my own library. And sometimes I think, well, I've got too many books. Maybe I just need to get rid of some of them. And when I'm about to do that, I'm like, I can't. And I'm always thinking, okay, what if the electricity goes off? What if another hurricane comes through? What if? You have to think of those things sometimes. I don't have to worry about electronics. I've got my book. I can get it. And I can sit down and I can read it and I can get my peace of mind.
There, and you just mentioned something really important. There is peace of mind in reading a book. You can get lost in someone else's story. You can actually, how many times can you do that in a day? But if you get a book, it's almost predictable that you get lost in the book. If it's an engaging book, I should say. I've read books and newspapers where I would just like to go through with a red pen and mark all the typos.
But I have my now that drives me crazy too. What's the significance of that? Because I can see, especially when it was like, I can go to the store too instead of TOO. Some people will be TO, and if I see that in writing, it drives me nuts. So I mean,
or it's and it's,
or the two of us, instead of spelling out TWO of us, people will put TO or TOO. It's just, and I know it's you're still saying two. It's just the spelling of it, and I'm not even an English major. I mean, I'm not at all.
Yes, but you are kind of in journalism. You got to admit, you've read a lot. So you know what good writing looks like, and you know what faulty writing looks like. It's like, nah, they didn't get an English degree.
I can tell the difference. I'm just telling you. I even quit reading the article if I see something like that, because I'm thinking, I don't think they put a lot of thought in it. Maybe I'm being overboard about it. I don't know. I just do that.
Yeah.
We've got 1 minute left in this segment. Can you believe it? What would you like to tell everybody before we go?
Well, a couple of things. I touched on it, and that is that I'm going to be speaking at the Survivorship Conference on the 16th. Survivorship is the oldest organization in the country for survivors of extreme abuse, ritual abuse, child abuse, trafficking, that kind of thing. And I used to speak there in person, and then I stopped speaking in person places. And when the COVID hit, they started having their conferences online. And so survivorship.org is the conversation, the place you can find that if you're interested in that. And then I'm really excited about something I'm doing at the end of May. I am doing a 2-hour workshop on journaling for my community at the Mentone, Alabama library. Because I'm saying that because there are people that are viewing you that are coming from this area. And it's going to be very similar to what we just talked about. And only more in depth, of course, because I've got 2 hours and a lot of people in front of me. So I'm excited about that. It's a way to help people understand that they can do a lot of healing that they didn't know they needed to heal, because we react with people based on our past. And so if we can heal some of that past, we have a different relationship with the person in front of us. So and also with ourselves. So to me, it's like, that's where I'm at. That's my exciting thing for the month.
I'm so excited about that for you. I wish I were closer by so I could come. Let's go ahead and call it a day. And DeJoly, it's always it's an honor to have you on the show. So I appreciate you letting me spend some time with you. Absolutely. And I appreciate you guys letting me spend some time with you as well. We'll see you next time around.
Absolutely. Thank you.